powerhouse actors, 40 unforgettable characters, 90 thrilling minutes, home, an uplifting journey from North Carolina to New York and back to find love and a place to belong. Find it for yourself at home on Broadway.
Good afternoon and welcome back to My Harlem Portraits, the show that aims at shedding a light on the fundamental contribution of African Americans to the building of this country and on Black excellence. To talk and represent Black excellence today, we have Brittany Inge, theater, film, and TV artist and activist, currently performing the lead role of Pattie Mae Wells in Home. Welcome to My Harlem Portraits.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Maria. I'm very happy to be here.
Home is running right now at the Todd Haines Theatre and is as the first Broadway play of the upcoming season of Roundabout Productions. It is a revival of the Tony Award-nominated masterpiece by playwright Samm-Art Williams, originally staged by the Negro Ensemble Company in 1979 and featured in the first year of Roundabout's Refocus projects.
Yep.
Sadly, Samm-Art Williams recently passed away. So I thought that we could dedicate this interview to him and to his excellence.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like you the guys did last night at the show. You dedicated the whole show to him.
Every performance. Yeah.
So let's start from the beginning. How did you get involved with this project?
Yes. So in 2021, Roundabout has been doing a Refocus project for a while now, putting emphasis on playwrights of color, bringing some of their works back into the mainstream, back to the front of people's minds. And in 2021, I got a call from Roundabout and Kenny. I've known Kenny for many years from the Atlanta theater scene. I've worked with him back in Atlanta. And Roundabout was doing a virtual reading. This was in the thick of the pandemic. So people were, theater was trying to keep itself alive by doing readings on Zoom, things like that. So they were doing a virtual reading of Home, and they asked me to be a part of it. And I actually read For Woman 2 in that reading. Okay. And it was a great experience. Kenny directed the reading. So we met on Zoom, rehearsed, and then we recorded the performance. And that was really great. It was the first I learned about the show, and it introduced me to this whole world. I was like, what is this amazing show? Why have I never heard of it? I was embarrassed and upset that I hadn't heard of it. And then 3 years later, the opportunity comes for a true revival and to take it to Broadway, and Roundabout called again. And I'm just so grateful. I had no idea that reading was an audition 3 years.
That's good, probably.
Yeah, I had no idea it was an audition, but I'm glad that I was able to prove myself worthy of the opportunity.
That's fantastic. When things are supposed to happen, they happen.
Yes, absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about the story and the character or characters you play, because in this play, all of you play something like 40 characters.
Yeah. So
we're going to talk about the characters afterwards, but
right.
I just wanted to say that it's not just one character you play.
Right. But the show itself is like a coming of age story. It's really one man's journey. His name is Cephas Smile, and it is his journey through loss and love and core values, and navigating what it looks like to hold firm to those core values, but then lose your way and feel like God has abandoned you, et cetera, et cetera. It's a very human story. I think it's something that everyone can relate to. It is literally life's journey and all the twists and turns and ebbs and flows, and how you find your way back home, not only in the literal physical sense, but also home, like self. You find your way back to self and back to a grounded, faith-based state of being. And so it's really one man's journey through all of that, and all of the characters and many people that he encounters along the way.
I have never seen anything like that. I mean, I've seen plays where the actors do a few characters, but this was just amazing. So I have to congratulate you, because last night the show was on fire.
Thank you.
And you were on fire. You were transitioning in and out smoothly, in and out of all those different characters that you play. How do you prepare for such a challenge?
Ooh, challenge is the right word, Maria. Let's just start there. Challenge is the right word. Lots of rehearsal, and honestly, lots of just development and talking about the show, talking about these characters and who they are. Because the thing about the show, like you said, we have to move in and out of the characters so quickly. I call it shape shifting. That's what we say sometimes in the rehearsal room. And because you have to do it so quickly, you want to make sure that even if you're only that character for 2 lines, that it feels like a real person, a fully realized person. And maybe that person comes back, or maybe you only meet them for that moment, but it needs to feel real and grounded. And so it's just talking through, like, well, what is this person's not only relationship to Cephas in this moment, but what is this person's story? How do they move through the world? What type of energy do they bring to the world? And that helps you drop into who they really are, even if it's just for 2 lines, and then you can move on to the next person. Just having the conversations and continuing to develop and discover who these people are and who they are to Cephas.
And the speed of not only the play, but the real speed in which you are talking and speaking those characters. That's another thing that mesmerized me and mesmerized everybody I was with.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about that, because how do you not get your tongue twisted?
Well, that does happen sometimes, and it can happen. I mean, it's live theater, so if that happens, and it has happened at times, you just move through it. You keep going and you move through it. But just honestly, a lot of like warming up, like warming up the voice, warming up the mouth muscles. Honestly, I know that sounds really like specific and technical, but so that you can speak at that speed, so that your body and your mouth and your tongue is ready to move and be clear at that speed. It's really just a lot of like warming yourself up, but it's a lot. It's a lot.
Bad. And then the lines and the fact that you have to remember so many characters is not like a usual play.
Right.
It's a play that brings your brain in and out of a space.
Yes, that's right.
Do you need yoga? What do you do?
Yes, no, oh, that's a great question. Yes, yoga, PT. I've been needing like physical therapy, even because it's a very physical show, not only in terms of like actual movement or, walking or jumping, but also shifting into those different characters. They have different postures, or, they hold their bodies in different ways. And so, yes, I need a lot of stretching, a lot of yoga, chiropractor, massage, like all the things you can think of. Honestly, like need that to keep myself together and okay to get through the process and still be myself at the end of it. When I'm done with this, I still want to be able to be Brittany and not still have all that other stuff on me. So yeah.
On you and in you.
Yes, exactly.
To you, right? My
exactly.
God. I mean, this to me was one of the masterpieces of interpretation and performing.
Thank you.
You were amazing. The 3 of you were amazing. You filled up that stage, and the stage was on fire, and the story was on fire, and I mean, the set is very simple, very linear. So you do it. Characters do the play.
Yeah, I always tell people, this is the type of theater, this is like representation on Broadway of that grassroots type of theater, bare bones, no smoke and mirrors, the way theater originated, in its original form. I feel like this is Broadway's version of that. There's still, a little light and beauty and, things that only you can only get from Broadway, but it is Broadway's version of a bare bones, minimalistic type of theater. And it's really cool to be a part of that. It's how I fell in love with theater. You know, even doing things like community theater as a younger artist, like coming up and you do everything yourself and you build the sets yourself. To me, it is a heightened version of that. So yeah, I'm really proud of that.
Fantastic. So from graduating at Duke Ellington School of the Arts in Washington, D.C., and Spelman College in Atlanta, passing through your career in theater, TV, and films. You are now performing on Broadway under the direction of Tony Awards winner Kenny Leon. Kenny Leon, who has directed so many Broadway shows.
17 to be exact. Yes.
How does that feel?
Amazing. It feels amazing. It feels like an honor. It feels like a big accomplishment, honestly. I love theater. Theater is where I got my start. But in the last 5 or 6 years, I've been doing a lot of television and some film, but a lot of television. And sometimes it's easy to get lost in the world of TV and just stay there. And I love TV. I love film. I will always do that. But I really have always wanted to be an artist who moves between all the mediums, because theater is my first love. And so I'm really excited and grateful for this opportunity, and working with Kenny is just amazing. I mean, he is amazing. He's a visionary and he has helped us bring the story to life, and it's been really great. I'm very, very grateful.
What are the challenges of working with someone like him who is so, precise in what he does?
Oh, yes. Challenges. I mean, here's the thing about Kenny. He will not let you lie. And by lie, I mean like in your work as characters, like you cannot lie. And so when you are in rehearsal and you're trying things out, it's like, okay, yeah, but where's the truth in that? It's like, okay, I see what you're doing, but show me the truth. And so it's a challenge, but a good challenge, a healthy challenge, like to always feel like, okay, I got to do this, but I have to tell the truth because Kenny's going to know, he's going to see if it's not all the way 100% truthful and fully lived in, he's going to call me out on it, So I would say that's a challenge, but it's a good challenge, that you're always trying to rise to that occasion of like, tell the truth so that you don't get called out, tell the truth.
So what do you think you're going to learn from this experience that could change or, change things in your career and in the way you act in your career?
I think the biggest thing I am learning, because it's hard to say what I will learn, I'm sure there's so many other discoveries on the other side of this experience once it's done. But what I will say I'm learning is just a deeper belief in myself and my abilities, because this show is challenging. It's amazing, but it's very challenging. This has been one of the most fulfilling and expansive experiences I've ever had as an artist. I feel like I'm being stretched and expanded, like I feel it on me. So I just think that, and in me.
You are all being expanded.
Yes, we all are like being stretched and expanded to rise to the occasion of this beautiful, phenomenal play. And so I think that what I'm learning is just a deeper belief in myself. And my abilities.
Tell me a little bit about also the interactions with your other colleagues, your fellow actors, because they are also amazing. And you have just 2 colleagues in there, Tony Kittles and Stori Ayers, and the 3 of you are making your Roundabout debut.
Yes, Tori and Stori, and because their names rhyme, Kenny calls me Glory, because we need all of our names to rhyme. So yes, Tori, Stori, and Glory. We are all making our Broadway debuts, also Roundabout debuts, but also Broadway debuts doing this show. So it's really special. 3, working Black actors who are making their Broadway debuts together under the direction of Kenny Leon, who's like one of our premier Black theater directors, premier theater directors, period. But, as a Black man and telling this story is just really special. And I think important. And we're having a great time. I love both of my castmates so much. I love being up there with them, telling the story. You talk about the speed of the show. It's like when we get up there and once you jump on that train, there's no getting off for 90 minutes. And so all we have is each other. And it's just been really great and rewarding. We lean on each other, we take care of each other, and we push through and tell the story, night after night.
What are the most amazing moments, the most relaxing ones during the production? Those moments that you said, oh, I'm never going to forget this.
Oh, that's good. Okay, probably our first day in the theater. Like just, rehearsal wise, but our first day actually being in the theater, seeing the set, walking through, seeing our dressing rooms for the first time. I'll never forget that. And probably our first preview, because it was nerve-wracking. It was our first time having like a real paying audience. We were all terrified. But also it's like, that's your Broadway debut. Like you never get a debut again. And so that was very memorable. And I just remember coming off that stage like, oh, we did it, like just breathing and just being so relieved that we got through it, knowing that there was still so much work to do. But yeah, I would say those two so far.
What did you do to relax that night?
What did I do that
I'm not
night?
asking any private stuff, okay?
No. What did I do to relax? You know what? That's a great question. So I love sweets, but because I'm trying to, live right, keep it together, I try not to indulge too much, right? But I love them. And so after that first preview, I was so proud of myself. I treated myself to a big Cinnabon, like that was my treat and my relaxation, and I savored every bite. It was wonderful.
Oh. So, and the rehearsals, how do they happen? Do you rehearse all together or each one of you has a time? Because this is so interactive that I imagine you have to be there all of them.
Yes. We're all there all the time. There's in some shows you could rehearse that way. It can be set up like just this person is called. This is not that type of show. We're all needed for basically every single moment. I think Tori, our Cephas, our main character, he never leaves the stage. And then Stori and we leave the stage, just moments, right? So there's no time to not be in the rehearsal room. We're needed for basically every single thing that you see. All three of us are being utilized in some way. So yeah, we were all there for every day, every moment. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
It is amazing. It is really a show that has to be seen. And I suggest to people who don't know about it before to go and check out what it is about, and maybe if they can see something before, because it's challenging to follow it if you don't know what it is about.
Oh, yeah. I understand that. And I hope that if people do find it, I hope not too challenging, like where you don't get the message. I hope it wasn't that challenging, but I will say, I do hope that people come back. Like, I think it's the type of show that you need to see at least twice.
Yes.
Honestly, you know what I mean? To catch everything. I think that is a great assessment and very true. You need to come back and see it again so that you can find somebody else or something else that maybe you missed the first time.
Exactly. I'm definitely coming back to see it because
Please.
I want, and especially because, it's not my language. So I probably miss more than, people, but
right.
It was incredible. Let's remind our viewers that the previews began on the 17th of May, right?
Yep.
And the opening night is going to be on June 5th, set for June 5th. And it's a limited time engagement. So you go on until July 21st.
Correct.
So tell our viewer why they should come to see the show now. Do not waste any time. Get it until you can get a ticket, because soon you won't be able to get tickets for this show.
Right.
And what is the message that you want the public, the people who come to see, take home with them?
I hope that everyone who comes to see the show leaves just being reminded that life is a journey and it is hard, right? It has its ups and downs, but just being reminded that everything that happens is happening for you, not to you. I think that is the real overarching message of the show. Everything that happens is happening for your greatest good. Even if it doesn't feel good in the moment, there is something coming. There is something especially for you in the end. And I think it's a message we all need to hear and receive, because life can get really hard sometimes. But I think we all have had those moments in life where it's like, oh, I went through that really difficult thing, and now I'm on this side of it, and now I know why that had to happen. I feel like that is how the show is written. You get this beautiful story that has a lot of lows, but some really nice highs. And in the end, you see the reason for all of it. You see the reason why Cephas had to navigate all of these experiences and all of these characters. And I think that's just true of all of our life journeys. I think that everyone will be able to see themselves reflected up there on that stage. And I hope audiences walk away knowing that Cephas's journey is a reflection of their own. It always works out for your good.
And in the play, your main character is Cephas' sweetheart.
Yes, Pattie Mae.
A little bit about that.
Yes, Pattie Mae. I love Pattie Mae so much, and I think what's interesting about her in this show is that she and Cephas are on parallel journeys. I think they are literally going through the same thing. It's just that we follow Cephas's journey more directly. But they go through the same thing. They both kind of they find each other, they love each other, they find their way away from home and what that looks like. And they go through challenges after leaving the land, after leaving home. They encounter all sorts of challenges and trials and triumphs, right? And then they find their way back home eventually. And so I think that Pattie's story is just so beautiful and so necessary and truly parallel to Cephas's. And I love being able to take her journey alongside Cephas, even though I also have to pop in and out of those other characters. For me, she is the through line because she's on the exact same trajectory as Cephas. So I really love Pattie Mae Wells. She's my favorite.
Wonderful. Did you meet, because I know that the playwright, he was in the theater with you in the beginning, right?
No, he wasn't actually. So what happened is Kenny reached out to Samm-Art Williams, our playwright. I think maybe this was a few years ago, maybe around the time of the reading even that I initially did. And he was able to get the rights, and Sam told him, Kenny, I trust you. I trust your vision. You can have the rights. I don't even want anything for it. Like, I don't even want any money. Whatever money you would give me, use that to pour into a Black artist, like invest in another, like a younger Black artist. And so that's what Roundabout is going to do. That, that's the plan. So that was always, the blessing was there, right? But Samm-Art Williams himself, this story, Home, is really his story. It is about his own core values. He was a playwright. He made a lot of money as a TV writer eventually in the 80s on The Martin Show and on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Oh. He made money and he went back home. He literally went home to North Carolina, Burgaw, North Carolina, and lived out the rest of his life back at home on the land. So the story that we're up there telling is really his story. And yes, he did pass recently, which we were all very shocked and sad to hear, but there's also kind of a poetic beauty to his passing and him passing at home, living out his last days just the way he has written Cephas's story. So it's something really beautiful about that too. But yeah, he's been in North Carolina living his life, and yeah, we just lost him.
Beautiful. Now I see the connection with the ending
exactly
of the story in the theater, which I'm not going to reveal.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about your career before. Which are the moments, whether in theater, in film, on TV, that you thought this was a step in a different direction in your career or in your education of yourself? And which moments you loved most, or you had most fun, or you had most difficulties?
So I started in theater, and then eventually I was able to get a TV and film agent and start auditioning. And in 2018, I booked my first big job. I'd been booking other smaller roles on different TV shows in Atlanta, but I booked my first big job, a TV show called Boomerang, which was executive produced by Lena Waithe and Halle Berry, and it was on BET. And that was a big accomplishment for me. I was very excited, and I loved my experience on that show. But I also found myself saying, oh, I want to get back to theater at some point. Not, I want to be able to do both, but after having that experience on that show, I'm like, yes, this, but I always want to find a way back to theater. Then the next big job I booked was a TV show, a sitcom this time, called The Miss Pat Show. And the thing about that is that it is co-created by Jordan E. Cooper, who is a playwright.
Yes.
And he wrote an amazing show called Ain't No Mo. That I saw actually for the first time at the Public in 2019. And I was obsessed with it. And I went to see it again because I was obsessed with it. Going back to seeing things twice because you might miss something. So I went to see it again because I was obsessed. And after that second time, I had dinner with Jordan that night because we had a mutual friend. Didn't know him, met him, broke bread. 2 years later, maybe 3 years later, he calls me about the Miss Pat Show.
Wow.
To do the show, not to audition, to offer me the job. And so that was just all very full circle. The fact that my love of theater got me this next big job, right? The Miss Pat Show. And the thing about our show is a sitcom, and we tape in front of a live studio audience. So that has been my fix of like having that theater feel, even though it's still TV, right? So that's been really rewarding for me. And I just feel like that trajectory from Boomerang, which was just, straight up television, single cam, to a multicam sitcom with an audience, to now being on Broadway. It's like I've been trickling, trying to make my way back in front of an audience, back to the theater. And so, yeah, that's been my journey so far. And I'm really, I feel really blessed and grateful for it.
Well, you worked hard for it.
Thank you.
And it shows in the incredible talent, excellence. This is the show about excellence.
Thank
and
you.
couldn't be best placed than you are at this show.
Thank you so much.
All right, so we have come to the end of our show. A message that you want to send to our viewers.
Well, the first message I would say is come home, okay? Come to the Todd Haines Theatre on 42nd and see Home. If you're in New York, if you're making your way to New York this summer, you do not want to miss this production. Come see us. We'd love to have you. We'd love to share this story with you. And I would also just say, be encouraged. If you don't get to see Home, if you come see Home, you will be encouraged. And if you don't get to see it, I would like to encourage you to just stay positive. Know that life is working out for your highest good. And love, peace, and joy. Love, peace, and joy.
Thank you. This is a very beautiful message. And so I thank you for your time, because I know very, very busy, your rehearsal and that show must take so much energy out of you. So.
It does.
And thank you to my viewers, to our viewers. We see you next time, 12:30 on Spectrum 1993. And to see all the past episodes, please go to My Harlem Portraits on YouTube, and you see everything that we've been doing until now. Thank you again, Brittany, and have a wonderful, wonderful time continuing this show.
Thank you.
See you again.
Yes, please. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.
Bye.